You walk out of your front door on any random morning, ordinary street, ordinary town, somewhere out in the home counties. And there it is, sitting on the driveway next door, a brand new £70,000 Range Rover, gleaming, spotless. The kind of machine that costs more than most people around here earn in 2 full years. And here is the thing that keeps you standing there with your keys still in your hand. You know your neighbour. You know where they work. You know, roughly, what a job like that pays in this part of Britain. And the numbers do not add up, not even close. So, how are they doing it? How is half the country suddenly gliding around in vehicles that, on paper, they simply cannot afford? Has everyone secretly become a millionaire while you were not looking? No, they have not. And once you understand what is really happening on that driveway, you will never look at a shiny new car the same way again. Here is the secret. Your neighbour did not buy that Range Rover. Let me say that again, because it is the single most misunderstood fact in modern British life. They did not buy it. They are renting it. They are subscribing to it. In 2026, over 90% of new cars in the United Kingdom are acquired through finance. And the overwhelming favourite is a product called PCP, Personal Contract Purchase. Think of PCP as a status rental agreement. You put down a deposit, you pay a monthly fee, and at the end of the term, you hand the keys straight back and start the whole cycle again. You never actually own the thing. You are paying, month after month, for the feeling of ownership without a scrap of the substance. Now compare that to old-fashioned HP hire purchase, where at least every payment is quietly buying you a bigger slice of the car until, one day, it is genuinely yours. PCP does not work like that. With PCP, most of your money is renting the fastest melting years of the car's life, and then a giant final balloon figure stands between you and ever owning it. Almost nobody pays that balloon. They just roll into the next deal, and the next, and the next. And this feeling of luxury is not cheap. A brand new Range Rover Sport, or a high-spec Audi in 2026, carries a monthly PCP payment of roughly £850, on top of a significant deposit. £850, every single month, for a car they will never own. Let me give you a way to actually picture what is going on here. Walking down a British street in 2026 is like walking through a high-end movie set. From the front, it looks like pure, effortless luxury. The shiny cars on every driveway, the manicured lawns, the smart new side extension. It looks like an entire street full of winners. But a film set is only ever a front. Walk around the back of those glamorous facades, and you do not find solid brick. You find scaffolding, timber props, rickety supports, held together with high-interest debt and maxed-out credit card balances. The whole beautiful scene is one strong gust of wind away from toppling over. And your neighbour? In the story, you have been quietly telling yourself, they are the lead actor, the star of a genuine success story. But they are not the lead actor. They are the caretaker. They are simply looking after a very expensive set that somebody else owns. And that somebody is the bank. Now here is the part nobody ever posts about online. The status does not stop at that monthly payment. It comes with a subscription fee, a hidden tax you pay purely for the privilege of looking wealthy. Start with insurance. Premiums for luxury SUVs have jumped 40% since 2024. 40%. For a high-end machine that often adds another £150 a month just to keep the thing legally on the road. Then layer on VED, Vehicle Excise Duty, the road tax, which, for a big, thirsty, expensive vehicle, is anything but gentle. Add it all together, and the sheer privilege of that driveway trophy quietly costs around £3,000 a year before a single mile has even been driven, purely in insurance and tax. £3,000 every single year, evaporating into thin air as nothing more than a maintenance fee on an image. And then there is the biggest, most brutal cost of them all, the one that does the real, lasting damage: depreciation. Buying a brand new luxury car is like buying an enormous, glowing ice sculpture and setting it up on your driveway for the whole street to admire. On day one, it is breathtaking. It catches the light. People slow down and stare. But the moment you put that sculpture out in the sun, the moment you actually start driving it, it begins to melt. A £60,000 vehicle can shed roughly £12,000 in value The very instant it rolls off the forecourt. Gone. And it keeps on melting. By year 3, around 40% of your beautiful sculpture has simply turned into a puddle on the pavement. Here is the cruel twist. You are still paying the bank for the full, original weight of the ice, but what you are actually left holding is a pile of slush. Now, let me show you the number that should genuinely frighten you, because the true cost of that car is not £850 a month. The true cost is everything that money could have become. Take roughly £1,000 a month, the payment, plus the insurance, plus the running costs, and imagine you did not evaporate it into a metal box. Imagine you fed it instead into a low-cost global index fund held inside a stocks and shares ISA, or drip-fed into a SIPP for your retirement. Over 20 years, at reasonable long-term market returns, that same £1,000 a month could quietly grow into over £400,000. £400,000. That is not a car. That is a mortgage, paid off in full. That is early retirement. That is your children's future, handed to them on a plate. Your neighbour is not simply buying a car. They are trading £400,000 of future freedom for a very specific type of seat leather. And this is the part that should stop you dead, standing on your own doorstep at the start of the working week. When you strip it all back, your neighbour is effectively working from Monday through to Wednesday, half of their entire working life, just to pay for a metal box that sits completely motionless on a driveway for 23 hours out of every day. They do not own their car. In a very real sense, the car owns them. So here is the question that changes absolutely everything. If brand new luxury cars are such a spectacularly bad deal, why do the genuinely wealthy so rarely drive them? Walk up to the home of someone in Britain with real, quiet money, the sort of person who will never once tell you they have it, and you will very often find a sensible, 5-year-old Toyota or Volvo sitting on the drive, not because they cannot afford better, but because they understand something your flashy neighbour simply does not. They let other people pay for the melting ice. They let other people absorb that savage first-year drop. And with the money they save, they buy what I call the compounding orchard, real assets that quietly grow year after year after year, feeding them for the rest of their lives. Your neighbour bought the ice sculpture, the wealthy planted the orchard. So what do you actually do about it? How do you drive something genuinely lovely without setting fire to your entire future? Simple. You take manual control. You buy depreciated quality. Here is the move, step by step. You let somebody else buy the car brand new and let them eat that catastrophic first 3 years of melt. Then you step in and buy the exact same vehicle, 3 years old, certified, pre-owned, fully inspected, very often still under warranty, for a fraction of that original price. The most punishing depreciation has already happened, and a stranger paid for every penny of it. You get the leather, you get the badge, you get the quiet, comfortable, effortless drive. You simply refuse to pay the enormous vanity premium of buying it brand new. The same car and a radically, permanently different financial life. So the next time you step outside and see that gleaming Range Rover parked next door, do not feel small, feel free. Because wealth in Britain is no longer about what you can show, it is about what you genuinely own. Real freedom is not a leased trophy slowly melting away on your driveway while the bank and HMRC quietly take their cut. Real freedom is a driveway full of paid-off assets and a mind that feels absolutely no need to impress the person living next door. Let them keep the ice sculpture. You go and plant the orchard. If you learn something, like and hit subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.